Hello, good morning, and welcome to my second podcast. I hope you're all well today. If you're in the UK, you're probably suffering a lot from some really bad heat at the moment. It's really, really hot. We're just not used to it. We're just not set up for it in this country, are we? But anyway, I finally managed to find the time and space to make my second podcast. I've been really wanting to do this for ages. But I've just not had the opportunity for various reasons, which I'll talk about in a minute. So I'm really glad to be back, really glad to be talking to you, and I hope you enjoy my podcast. It's not really sort of going to be split into sections. It's more sort of, I'll just talk about things as I feel like it. So I hope that's okay with you guys. So I think when I told you last time, I told you a bit about myself. Oh, do you know what? I'm really thirsty, and I'm just going to pour myself a cup of tea before I start talking and I get a really dry mouth. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so I think I told you last time, it was a bit hot, that my second eldest was about to go off to Edinburgh, and we were moving them up there in a couple of weeks, so that's now happened. News on that story though, I think I said to you before that I currently have 4 cats, and that soon I would only have 2 cats because 2 were moving up to Edinburgh with my daughter, so with my second eldest. Well, of course, you can tell what I'm going to say now. So that didn't actually happen. They couldn't get a flat where they could have the cats. So the cats are staying with me. So I still have 4 cats, much to my partner's amusement, who said when we got the cats last year, you're going to end up with 4 cats. You're going to be a mad cat one with 4 cats. And I was like, no. They're definitely going to move out. They're definitely going to take them with them. And no. So I have 4 cats, but that's fine because they all get on pretty well. So I'm not too worried about it at the moment. And the plan is for them to move up with my second eldest in the next year when they get a different living situation where they can have the cats. So you know, I'm okay with this. So that's okay. So I've actually made myself a list because I had so much to talk about. That's the first things to tell you. Okay, so the next thing I was going to tell you about was I went to the Summer Wool Festival in Ampthill in Surrey. That might be better known to you as Fibre East. It used to be Fibre East before COVID, and then it didn't start up again after COVID, but the Summer Wool Festival took over where Fibre East had left off. Excuse me. So, went along for the first time to that one. It was really good, actually. There were a lot of the same people there, which was lovely. Sort of go back and see people. It's the only wool festival I go to. It's the only one I actually visit because what I do is I save up all year to go to that one festival, and then I buy things at that festival, and then I don't buy any. So that's really the only new yarn that I ever buy is at that festival. So I was really looking forward to going, seeing a lot of the people that I'd seen there before. Particularly, I love Fell Fusion and the Fibre Fox. I'm trying to think of some other people that are there that I really liked. There was a couple I was really sad not to see. One I think is called Blackbird Yarns that sell drops, and it's lovely because it's the only place I found where you can actually go and play with the drops yarn. Otherwise you have to order it online. I haven't found anywhere near me that sells it. So I was a bit sad that they weren't there. But anyway, there was loads of exhibitors there, lots of really interesting stuff. I had lots of lovely chats with the people on the stands and things. And I came away with some goodies. So I'm going to show you some of what I got. I'll show you this. All right, I was going with the intention of buying patterns rather than yarn because I have so much yarn. But in the end, I didn't really see any that I wanted to spend a lot of money on. And I don't begrudge the designers their money at all. But and I think they're well worth the money that they cost. Most patterns seem to be around about the £7 mark, which I think is really reasonable, but it's a bit much for me because I'm on a small budget. But anyway, I did buy this pattern, and I've turned my camera around this time, so hopefully you can actually see the words the right way round. Let me just hold that up so you can see it. So this is the Tumbling Leaves shawl by Dina's Home of Crafts, and I'll just show you that close up. Isn't that beautiful? Really, really lovely, isn't it? So I really like that. I think I might have shown you last time I made a hat with like a leaf design on it, and I've been looking for something like that for ages, and I really struggled to find a nice pattern with a leaf design. So when I came across this shawl, I just thought, oh, I really want to have that. So that was my only one pattern that I bought, despite me saying that was all I was going to buy was patterns, and I wasn't going to buy any yarn. So you can see how this is going. Anyway, I did buy some other things as well. So there's an absolutely lovely stand called Joe's Toes, and sorry for the rustling. And they make they make felt soles and kits for felt soles for making crocheting slippers, and they make kits as well. So you can actually make a whole felt slipper out of a kit, and they're so beautiful. They really are lovely. But I didn't buy the actual soles. But what they do, I love this because this is just so my aesthetic. This is so my sort of ethos, way of doing things. Is when they cut out the soles, they always have little bits of felt left over. So rather than throwing those out, they make them into stuff, and you can actually buy them. So I got this, which is a little pack of so there's birds and leaves in this one, and I've got right beginner's error. Time new to podcasting. I forgot to clear my memory of my phone before I started, so I got really interrupted because I ran out of memory, and so they stopped filming. So if you see this video, then it means I will have successfully discovered how to put two videos together to make a YouTube video. So well done me. So I'm really hoping this works. But when I look back, I just thought I've said so much, and if I try and re-record it again all in one, then it just won't be the same. So anyway, I'm carrying on. I'm just fingers crossed it all works. So anyway, I was telling you about Joe's Toes, and I was telling you, I showed you this packet, and then this is the second one that I got as well with stars on. So yeah, I really love these. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can put them together in a mobile, so to string them up with all the different things down there, or I might make them into Christmas tree decorations. Haven't decided yet, but I just really love those, and I love the fact that they sort of, you know, they use every little bit of the felt to make stuff out of. I think that just really appealed to me. So the next thing I bought was when I was when you're going around a yarn festival, quite often you see that there is like one particular design which happens to be the thing of this particular time. And this at the moment it's honeycomb shawls. Everybody seems to be into honeycomb shawls, and I've seen them done beautifully. I've seen them done really well. Stephen West has a fantastic pattern, and it's two patterns in one, because it gives you sort of like big honeycombs like this, and then there's a pattern with smaller honeycombs like that. A lot of people have been doing this Stephen West design. And oh, this is Bear. Say hello, Bear. Look, Bear is my little baby cat. He's about 2 now. He's part Siamese, which is why he's so skinny. I was really worried that he wasn't putting on weight until the vet told me. You have to get down there, sweetheart. You can't stay there. Come on, there you go. There you go. There you go. That's one cow. You've met 1 out of 4. Might be the only one you meet. So yeah, Stephen West has his brilliant pattern for doing honeycomb yarns, and I've honeycomb pattern shawls, and I've seen them done with sort of the honeycomb bit in grey, and then the sort of inside of the honeycomb done in sort of like a changing colours, and I've seen it done with like a muted rainbow, and it looks beautiful. It really does. But can you hear that? That is Lily. That is Lily crawling underneath one of the cabinets. I've no idea what she's doing. I'm really sorry. That's her collar. You can hear sort of. Well, she must be chasing something, probably a ball of tinfoil or something. So yeah, sorry. Cats are always going to interrupt me, aren't they? So what was I saying? Yes. So the honeycomb shawl. I wanted to do it with variegated yarns. So you've got two different variegations. One starts with dark and one starts with the light, and then they sort of cross over and they fade back the other way. And I just thought I just had this vision, this would be really beautiful. And then actually I saw it at a stall, which was at a stall, sorry, which is Yarn Mixology. And they'd done it, and they had really long sort of variegated yarns, so a long sort of run of each colour, and they'd done a honeycomb shawl, and I thought, oh, this looks fantastic. So I treated myself. This is the thing I bought. So I got these 2 yarns, and I'm really looking forward to doing this. So I have got, what have I got? I've got berries and cream and peacock. And I chose that because this centre, the berries and cream centre, has the same purple as the outside of this peacock one. And so I thought they just look really, really nice together. So I'm really excited to start doing that. But I have a lot of other things to do first, so it might take a while for me to get round to it. So I then come to my 2 big purchases. So I don't need any more yarn. I think I said this last time. I really don't need any more yarn. However, most of the yarn that I have, because I say that I have lots of leftovers, people give me their leftovers and things, and apart from sock yarn, most of these yarns are not sufficient to complete a whole project in that one yarn. I love doing lots of things where I mix things together. I use lots of different yarns to do something, so I'm really into big bright coloured patterns and that sort of thing, which is great. But then sometimes you want something that's just all one colour, that's sort of plain. And so I was at this store and I noticed that they were selling pure wool, massive great big skeins for really, really reasonable price. And a few years ago I got some, I did some knitting for a shop in Dorking. If you ever go, it's the Fluffatorium in Dorking, and it is wonderful. The lady who runs it, she's mostly, her background is in needle felting and wet felting, and which is why it's called the Fluffatorium. But she also sells really brilliant selection of yarns, and I did some knitting for her. I did a jumper, and I think I did a couple of jumpers actually, and a cardigan, I think, for her shop, as for a display in the shop. And she paid me in wool, which is just like, it's just brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Because I knew if she paid me money, it would have just gone on bills. Whereas she paid me in yarn, it was like I was like a kid in a sweet shop. Anyway, I got some West Yorkshire spinners. I can't remember what it was now. It was a blue anyway. It was a sort of a deep blue with slightly grey undertones. It was absolutely beautiful, and I made myself this cardigan, and it was lovely. It was really, really lovely. I'll try and remember at some point to actually show you the cardigan, because I still have it, and I'll show you the pattern, which came out of an American book, which a friend had given me. This is going to become a bit of a theme, I think. So I made the cardigan. It was absolutely fine. I got to the button band, and you had to pick up stitches around for the button band. So I picked up the stitches and I started knitting the button band. And I was like, oh God, this is too baggy. You know, I've got too many stitches in. It's not sitting right. Oh, this is really annoying. Unpicked it, did it again. This time I had too few stitches. And of course you don't really realise until you start knitting it. And so I knitted into the button band quite far. And I was like, no, it's not sitting right. So I unpicked it and did it a third time. And yet again, I think I ended with too many or too few. I was so cross by this point. I put it in the naughty corner. It stayed in a bag for about 6 months, and then I was so annoyed with it. And I don't know why. Why didn't I just knit the button band separately and then sew it on? I don't know. Right. Well, I don't know what happened there. It cut off again. I don't know why. So I'm just going to carry on and just. Sorry, this is the most unprofessional video. Anyway. I think I was saying to you, I don't know why I didn't just sew the button band on, but I didn't. I didn't just knit it and then sew it on separately. I don't know why. Anyway, that cardigan ended up languishing in my wardrobe. It's still there. I'll try and show it to you at some point. I think and show you the pattern. The pattern was from an American book. I might have said that already. I'm sorry because it cut out. It didn't tell me it cut out for quite a long time before it cut out, so I can't remember what I said and what I didn't. So anyway, then my second eldest lent me a cardigan that was the right colour for all my wardrobe, and I was like, this is fine, this is great. I've now got something that goes with all my stuff. Anyway, when they moved up to Edinburgh, they took the cardigan with them. So I needed a new blue cardigan, and I found this stall that was selling these skeins of wool. And if I just show you this, I have 2 of these. Look at this. Isn't this the most beautiful colour? If I just show you, if I just come up like this. So it's a really lovely blue. So it's a royal blue, royalish blue actually. It is not quite showing the true colour here, but it's just got a little bit of movement in the colour. It's not just a solid colour. It's absolutely gorgeous. And like I said, I've got 2 skeins, so I should have enough to make a cardigan, or at least a cropped cardigan anyway, I think. So I'm so excited. I'm so excited to get going with this. You've no idea how hard it was for me not to just get this caked up and start knitting with it straight away. I was like, no, I'm going to keep it and I'm going to show everybody in the podcast what I got. So before I do that, so that's that one. And then just at the end of the day, I was just having a last wander around looking at the stalls, and I went back to that stall, and they still had quite a bit of the skeins of yarn left. And this was a complete impulse purchase, but I got 2 skeins of this yarn. Beautiful sort of baby pink. Look at that. Really, really lovely. Really lovely. So I'm really not sure what I'm going to do with this. I'm hoping that there's enough to do a jumper with a yoke, and I'll do the yoke in different colours, or sort of thing. I think that's sort of my vague idea. It's not really like me to buy yarn without having a project in mind. So that was my purchase. I had fun. I had a great time. We went with some friends, and we had such a lovely time. It was really, really good. Right, so that's that. I'm going to show you. I'll show you this first. So my second eldest is a knitter and a crocheter like me, and they left behind a bag of yarn which they didn't want. They had been attempting to make one of these big, like the amigurumi. I hope I said that right. Is it amigurumi? I think so. Anyway, they made one of these big bees. That's what they were trying to make, and they wanted a really big fluffy one. And so they bought this yarn. It's absolutely ridiculous. Anyway, they got about a third of the way through and realised it was going to take like another 2 or 3 balls of yarn, and the balls were like £10 each, and they were just like, this is just ridiculous. I can't possibly do this. And I said, what are you going to do with this yarn then? You've bought like 3 balls in 3 different colours. What are you going to do with it? And they just went, here you are, your problem. You can do something with it. Well, I'm not going to get rid of it, am I? I mean, I'm going to make something with it. But let me just show you this yarn. This is the bag. This is what they started doing. This is their attempted project. Oops. This is the crochet hook. It's like a broomstick. It's a 25mm crochet hook. It's just ridiculous. So this is what the yarn looks like. This is a part ball. I mean, it's like, I mean, it's lovely and soft. It's really, really fuzzy. It's beautiful yarn. But what am I going to do with it? I can unravel this project that they've already done. So I can unravel this bit. I've then got the rest of this yellow ball. I've got the rest of the brown ball, and then I've got a white one as well, or creamy white. Anyway, I have no idea. I have no idea what to do. The only thing I can think of at the moment is to make a cat bed or a cat blanket. One of my cats is really funny though, Bear, that you saw earlier. He doesn't like really soft, fluffy things. I have a blanket on my bed, which is like a soft, like a fur type thing, and he won't go on it at all. He's really funny. He'll like scoosh himself up on the edge, but he loves my knitted blankets. He's quite happy to sleep on those. He's a funny boy. So yeah, any suggestions you've got as to what I could do with 3 balls of impossibly large yarn, which needs knitting on a 25mm crochet hook, please let me know, because I have no idea what to do with it, apart from make a cat bed, as I said. I'll probably have to invest in some broomsticks or something, or I'd probably end up crocheting it simply because I don't have 25mm needles, funnily enough, knitting needles. Right, so that yeah. What am I going to do with that? Right, okay, let me show you some finished stuff. So most of this I think I've made with yarn that I've been given. So I was given this, which is lovely and soft. And look at this, it's got beautiful speckles on it. Really, really nice. I thought I'd make a really lovely man's hat with a bobble, a bit sort of retro, you know, a bit 70s. So that. I also got lots of pure wool, but this is from a friend who loves to knit with Icelandic wool, and she had lots of like leftovers of part balls of yarn and things, and she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do with them, and I'm just never going to use them, so she gave them to me. So I thought, given the horrendous hike in energy prices that we are about to get, I thought hot water bottle covers. So look, I've made this. This is made from pure wool. So it's a bit, I wouldn't call it really soft. It's a bit scratchy, but it's really warm. And obviously the more you use it, the more it'll felt a little bit as well. But isn't it beautiful? Look at this beautiful yarn. And then on the front, because I just had a few of these little bits, I made a pocket. So you can sit with your hot water bottle in, put your hands in the pocket and keep them warm. So I think I'm going to make a few more of these actually. And then, which do I want to show you next? Oh yes, so last time I showed you, I was making this cardigan. If I just show you the top. So it was this was green yarn that I'd been given, which I put together with some Starcraft gold and copper. And the little foxes on the bottom. There we go. This is finished now. So what I did, I said I wanted toggles for it. I felt like it was a cardigan that called for toggles. Hold it back then, you can see the whole thing. and I felt it called for toggles, and a friend said, "Oh, I've got some toggles you can have." Very generous. So she gave me the toggles. They were very pale wood. They were just white wood almost, and it didn't look right. So I got some copper coloured acrylic paint, and I just painted them. Now they work beautifully, and then I just sewed them on with green yarn. So that's a little cardigan for probably age 1 to 2, I think. Anyway, I still had some of this green yarn. I still had some left over. So I decided to make another jumper. And I've seen this jumper for a while. I really, really like this jumper. So this one is a birder pattern. Birder, I think, is better known for sewing. But they do knitting patterns as well. I find their knitting patterns quite tricky to follow. The instructions are often really quite vague, I find, to my sort of English pattern experience. They tend to say things like decrease evenly across the next round, whereas I'm used to knit 12, decrease 1, continue across round, so you've got to do a bit of math sometimes. And sometimes it says things like, I think with this one it said, put the bobbles evenly across the thing, and you have to work it out yourself. I was like, oh my goodness. But end result, I think I'm really, really pleased with. So again, this is probably for about a four-year-old, I would say, 4 or 5-year-old girl, or boy, I suppose. I like using things that aren't just like the pastel colours, so for little kids, I think sometimes they deserve, some nice grown-up colours. Anyway, so I used up the green, and then I had this ball of red, which I used, and then when I ran out the red, I just went to this slightly paler coloured red, and actually this is a really nice soft yarn, so it's nice to be next to the neck. So I'm really pleased with this. I thought it worked out really well. I was a bit worried it was just going to look like I'd run out of yarn and used another one, but I don't think it does actually. Also, I should show you this. Look, I got some labels. It says handmade by Miaou. I'm really pleased with those. So that's that. You also might remember this colour. So I showed you that yarn last time, didn't I? And I said, oh my goodness, what am I going to do with this? And somebody said turning into a blanket. So it could be like a lap blanket or a doll's blanket or a baby blanket or something. So I did. And actually, I think that looks really, really lovely. I'm really pleased with that. It's a nice jolly colour. They all work really well together. So yeah, I'm quite pleased with that. Anyway, then I decided, a friend gave me, Rowan felted tweed. She bought it for a project and decided it wasn't her colours and she didn't want to do it anymore. Rowan felted tweed is not cheap, I'm sure you will know. I think it's about $7.99 a ball. And she must have given me, I think it must have been nearly £100 worth of yarn. I'm like a kid in a sweet shop. I really am. So I looked at this and I thought, all right, I wanted. There were lots. There was like balls of different colours, lots of different colours, 2 or 3 of one colour, and then most of it was just single balls of other colours. So I thought, right, what am I going to do this? And I thought, Fair Isle needs to be Fair Isle. So I made. This is a hat I made, and I'm really sorry because I've forgotten to look out the pattern that I used. I'll try and remember to do it next time. It was a free Ravelry pattern, I will tell you that. And I think it's called something to do with arrows, but I just can't remember. But I'm so pleased with the way this came out. This is really lovely. I'm really pleased with this. I did a bobble on the top as well. So it's sort of a man-sized hat. Anyway, I got rather into Fair Isle, so I decided I would do some more. So I did another one. I did the same pattern, but in a different colourway. So I went with this sort of purple and mauve thing. And again, I'm really pleased with the way it's come out. I was a bit worried that the contrast wouldn't be good enough, but I think it is. I think it works out really nicely. So that was that one. And then I thought, right, I had some birthday money. I had a birthday. I meant to tell you that. I had a birthday. So I got birthday money. And I bought pattern books with my birthday money. Knitting books, which I'll show you next time because I think there's far too much. This video is already getting quite long. So anyway, I got a pattern book on how to design Fair Isle. I think it's by somebody called, she's called Mary Mucklemore, something like that. Not sure. Anyway, so this is the design that I came up with using. So I did this sort of rib, contrast rib, and then a heart pattern, and then this sort of bigger heart pattern. Sort of, hang on, let me do it that way. You can just see the whole pattern there. Goes across the top, and then more little heart pattern at the top. And I really like it. I love that little blue just going all across the middle, and then there's this darker colour in the middle. I'm really pleased with it. And Fair Isle's lovely because it looks so complicated, but in fact you're only ever using 2 colours at a time, which I find amazing because it doesn't look like it, does it? It looks like you're using far more. So yeah, so that was my Fair Isle jaunt. Okay, I'm just going to show you another couple of things. So this is from yarn that I actually bought myself, because I thought if I'm going to do this podcast and say I don't buy yarn, I just use what I'm given or what I've thrifted from charity shops and stuff, and I just thought, well, I'm very lucky. I'm part of quite a few knitting communities, and people give me their leftovers, and so I quite often end up knitting with really good quality yarn. And I'm just sort of making bits with the leftovers, And I think, well, that's all very well and good, but what if you don't have access to it? You don't have friends that give you £100 worth of Rowan tweed. You might be well sitting there thinking, well, what's the point of her saying, she's doing all this stuff that's, she's saying I don't spend any money, but then she's got all these lovely things. Well, I haven't got access to all this, so I went to Poundland and I bought their 3 for £2 yarns. I bought 2 different colourways, one which is a blue and white, and one which is a sort of purpley, greeny, beigey colour we mixed with white, and I made a couple of things out of them because I wanted to see how they knitted up and how they felt, what they were like to work with. And you know what? They're absolutely lovely. So I made this little baby kimono top cardigan, which is just so sweet. I'm really pleased with it. And look at that, I love the colours. I really love the colours. And the way this was knitted, again, I'm really sorry, I haven't written the pattern down. I realised this morning that I had the opportunity to do a video, and I rushed downstairs, gathered all my knitting up and came down, and I didn't think about writing the patterns down. So I'm really sorry. All I can tell you, again, free pattern on Ravelry, because free's good for me. And if you can see, I just did a tiny little tie on the inside as well, just so you could because I thought ties are easier. Maybe I don't know. I think ties are easier with a little wriggly baby rather than poppers, which they might pull undone, or buttons, which can be a bit fiddly. I don't know. But I also looked rather sweet. I'm really pleased with that. It knitted up really well. It looks beautiful. I think it looks really, really nice. And it's acrylic, which, some people don't like the feel of, but this is actually really, really soft. And I think if you've got a small baby, you just want to be able to chuck it in the washing machine and through the dryer with everything else and not have to separate it out. I'm always careful when I make stuff for people with babies to say, to make it out of yarn where you don't need to hand wash it, and to say to them, treat this like any other garment that you've got for that baby. Chuck it in the washing machine, chuck it in the dryer, whatever. Don't keep it for best. It's meant to be used, because kids grow so quickly, and if they don't wear them, they're grown, haven't they? Before they've had a chance to wear them. And I think it's quite, I like to wait to make things to be worn. Anyway, the second thing I did was I made a teddy bear. Look at this guy. He is so cute. Look at his big fat belly. These lovely little legs. And he's got a little tail. I'm so chuffed with this guy. He is so cute. I really, really like him. He's so cuddly. And he is also made from Poundland, 3 balls for £2. Was it 2 balls for £3? I think it's 3 balls for £2. I think it's 3 for 2. I'm sure I think it is anyway. So he cost me £2 to make, because I had the black in for this, and I also had the stuffing for him. But I think he is absolutely adorable, and I'm sure any kid would really like to have him. I find toy making a bit of a bind. You just seem to be. It's like the knitting is you're not even a third of the way through the project knitting, because then you've got to do the sewing up, and then you've got to do the stuffing, and then you've got to attach all the limbs, and then you've got to do the face, and then you've got to make it look right and everything, and so I get a bit bored with toy knitting, but I do like to do it from time to time, and I'm really pleased with him. So if ever you're wondering whether it's worth buying the Poundland 3 for 2 yarns, go for it. I think they're great. And I mean, they're mostly sort of pastel colours, but I think they do different stuff as well. So, have a look around. I think Wilko's also does yarn, so I'll be interested to know what theirs. No, not Wilko. B&M. I think they do yarn as well. So, there you go. So, that's all my finished projects. Obviously, because it's been quite a long time since I've seen you all, I'm just going to put these back in the bag, because otherwise everything's going to overbalance off the table. Because it's quite a long time since I've seen you all, I've been quite busy and made quite a lot, so that's why there is so much. And in case you're wondering what I'm doing with all of these, I'm doing a Christmas stall at my church in December, and I'm going to sell them all in aid of Christians Against Poverty. So 50% of the profit goes to Christians Against Poverty. 50% pays for the Christmas presents for my kids. So that seemed like a reasonable thing to do. So things that I've got on the go at the moment. I've got 3 main projects on the go. Sorry, celebrity. Well, I was taking my second eldest up to Edinburgh. My partner and I took them up, moved them up. We had a car full of stuff. Oh my goodness, it was absolutely full to the brims. And we had a roof box, and that was full as well. And they still left behind about 4 boxes full of stuff that we couldn't get in the car. I've been telling them for weeks they weren't going to get everything in. Anyway, that's right. Anyway, so we took them up, settled them into the flat, and then it's Edinburgh. It's the Arts Festival, Fringe Festival, on at the moment. So my partner and I went around the Fringe Festival, and it was lovely. It was hot though. I don't think of Edinburgh as being hot, but it's 32 down here in Cambridgeshire, and it was 24 up there, so it was quite warm. So we'd watch a few street acts, and then we'd go off and do something inside for a bit. And one of the things we did, we went inside St Giles's Church, which was lovely. It was really nice just to have a walk around and just in the cool and have a bit of a peace from it all. And the other thing we did was we went into the National Gallery, and my partner bought a reproduction of a painting we saw by John Singer Sargent, and it was the first, I can't remember, is it Lady Agnew, I think it was called, and it was the first picture that sort of pushed him into the limelight as a portrait painter. And it's beautiful, and she's got those eyes that sort of follow you around the room. It's really amazing. It's great. It was really great. And I got a mug. which is this mug I'm drinking out of just now. So I was really pleased with that. Also got a fridge magnet. I always get a fridge magnet every time I go somewhere. I've got loads now. And we've only got a small under-counter fridge, so it's filling up. But anyway, don't know why I'm telling you that. I'm really sure you're not interested. Anyway, right, so socks. When we were travelling up to Edinburgh and travelling back, my partner did all the driving, bless him. I did offer several times, and he said, "Yeah, I'll let you know if I want you to drive." But he was fine driving. He quite enjoys it, and I got to knit, and so I'm most of the way through this pair of socks. I just picked the yarn up, grabbed the yarn as we were going. Look at this. Isn't this beautiful? I just love the variegation. Thank you, camera, for focusing on that. Really nice, and they're just not nice for distance. So I've just done a plain one, plain sock with a slip stitch heel. I don't know whether I said before, but the pattern I use is the one that Stephanie Pearl McPhee uses. If you've come across her, I used to read her blog regularly, religiously, all the time. I haven't read it much. I don't think she's been posting much over COVID, actually. And she's I really like the way she writes. And her sock knitting pattern is one of the best ones I've come across, actually. So yeah, I'm really enjoying knitting those. I knitted a whole sock on the way there and on the way back. I've now got, where am I? Oh, I've just turned the heel on the second one. Look, I've stopped in the middle of the row. That's really bad, isn't it? I'll get confused. Have I finished doing the, yes, I've finished doing the shaping. So yeah, so I will finish those at some point. But sock knitting, I tend to, is my go-to mobile project. It's really handy if I just want to take something and have it in the bag just in case I want something to knit on. So and I tend to knit plain socks because then I don't have to remember a pattern, get confused. So that's that. And what's the other thing? Oh yes, my jumper. I think I showed you this last time, didn't I? And I said I was about to start doing the sleeves. Let me just show you. There we go. So as you can see, I've almost finished one sleeve. However, this is attempt number 2 because the first one was too narrow, and I tried it on and I thought, I'm not sure if this is going to be a bit too narrow. I thought, no, it's fine, I'll carry on, and I was just, literally, I got to about there on my arm. I thought, it's too tight. I'm not going to be able to put anything on underneath it, and it's just, I'd need something underneath it, t-shirt or, long sleeve t-shirt or something. And I was so annoyed. So I had to pull it all the way back to the green there and start again. I added an extra 10 stitches underneath the arm, so it's a little bit baggy. So I've actually gone up about 3 sizes on the arms. When you look at the pattern, you can see that it is meant to be quite skinny. This one I do have the pattern for. So this is by Isabel Kramer, and it's called the Ravello. And you can actually see where the model is wearing it. See, the arm is quite thin, isn't it? It's quite meant to be quite skinny, but I didn't want it that skinny, so I had to pull it back. So I've almost finished that arm, but you know what? I've put it aside again because I've started a new project. I will finish it, but I do tend to pick it up and work on it for a bit and then put it down for a few weeks and then pick it up and put it down again. So my new project is I'm doing a floor cushion, because I have a floor cushion in my living room, and the cover on it was a little bit flimsy. It was like a mandala type pattern. It's really pretty, and it went beautifully well with the room. And it had a zip in the middle of the back, so you could take it out and wash the cover, which I've done occasionally. Well, the zip went pretty well straight away. The thing is with the floor cushions, people stand on them, don't they? And when they stand on them, they put a lot of weight on them and then move it slightly, and so it was under quite a lot of pressure. Anyway, the fabric on the top was obviously not designed to take that much wear, and it fell apart, and so there's now a huge hole in it. So I've had to move it out of the way because I'm worried about people catching their feet on it. And I thought, do you know what? Why don't I knit a top cover for it? Now the only problem with that, and the reason why I haven't done it up till now, is my second eldest, who has just now gone to Edinburgh, has sensory issues. They have autism and ADHD and quite a few sensory issues, and they can't bear the feel of wool. And I'd already got a wool rug in that room, which they wouldn't stand on at all. They would always like edge round it, or they would use the floor cushion to walk on to get across the room. So I thought, if I make a floor cushion out of wool, then it really is going to be a game of the floor is lava, isn't it? You know, because they're not going to have a safe island to stand on. But then I thought, well, what I can do is I'll do the top in wool, and then I'll do the underneath in a fabric that they like, and put a zip in it, and then we can just turn it the other way up when they're here. But for the most part, they're not here. So that's the preamble. Just checking my list. Yeah, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about. You might be pleased to know. So anyway, what I did was I gathered together some of my sock yarn. When I say this is some of my sock yarn, you'll realise just how much I have got. So what I did was I got all the yarns that have variegation in, fairly short length variegations rather than the long. What do you call that? Like the long colour changes, I guess. So let me just get this basket. So this is my basket. I wonder if I can hold it up so you can see. This is, whoop, lost one. Hang on. So this is the yarn that I'm going to use, and basically I'm starting with these sort of colours, gradually sort of segueing into these, moving on to these, and finishing with, right at the bottom, that. And there's going to be quite a lot of these sort of greens in between. So unfortunately, like I said, because it's all in a basket, let me just try and hold it up again. You can sort of see what sort of variation of colours I've got. And if you notice, I've got little tags on them. I've numbered each one. So I've laid them out so I know what sequence I'm going in. And I've numbered each one with a number, just so that I know which one comes next. I had a go. I did the middle wrong. Oh, the blanket, by the way, that I'm doing is the 10 stitch twist by Frankie Brown. It's my little middle. Anyway, I've done it slightly wrong. I've got too many, I think I've got too many rows in it or something. Or no, did I do the second row wrong? I can't remember. Anyway, and so as I went up into the next bit, it was starting to curl in, and I thought, do you know what, I am actually going to start again, because I found a video which showed me how to do the increasing bit better than it explains in the instructions. There's some bits where it doesn't quite make sense, but she explains it in the video really, really well. If you're wanting to do a 10 stitch blanket, I can't remember, I think it's something like Jenny Knits is the person who does the tutorial on how to do the increase into the 10 stitches. But if you look on Ravelry, quite a few people have linked it from their projects and said use this video to learn how to do the increase. So there you go. I have made one of these before, and I made it with leftover yarn. It was leftover pure wool yarns, and I made a blanket that was probably about this big, and I backed it with waterproof fabric that I had left over from another project, and it's like my mini picnic blanket, and so because in my job where I used to work in the centre of Cambridge, and there are lots and lots of beautiful parks around there, and quite often I would go and I'd take my mini picnic rug and I'd take my lunch and I would go and sit on the grass, and I'd probably just do some knitting as well, and just enjoy sitting there. So it was really handy just to have a a little rug to sit on. So I don't remember having so much problem with it last time, but anyway, I'm finding it a bit tricky this time. But as you can see with the colours, it's actually really coming out really nicely. I'm really pleased with this. And the colours do sort of change a bit gradually. But like I said, I did about 3 rounds and then I had to pull it back, which is a bit annoying. But hopefully next time I'll have a bit more to show you on that. So I think that's it. This has been rather a long video. I hope I can stitch it all together since it's in 3 bits. You probably heard the cats running around a bit. I'm glad you got to see Bear. And I will see you again soon. Bye bye.